Hi, my name is Heather, and welcome to a new season of Cover to Cover Canva Edition, my series where I share my process with you creating a children's book using Canva elements. I'll get into what we're doing for the new season in a minute, but first I wanted to share with you the book from last season, which is now live, and it is available for purchase. So if you want to show Laureen some love, you can go and purchase her children's book. And here's the book. It was Joey's first day of kindergarten. If you didn't watch last season, you can see the whole process of how I created this book from start to finish and built all the scenes out and did the cover and all that. As you can see, she did make some changes here. So she swapped out the image on the shirt and it's a little motorcycle, and that's super cute. And she added the little family dog right here. And she also gave herself a new outfit and swapped out some of the characters. So if you want to see the changes that she made in the book, you can order the book on Amazon and you can check out the changes she made. There's some really cute creative things that she did that I just love. One of the things I really loved was that she put a little airplane in the sky here, which I thought was so cool because I'm always wanting to put more things in the sky just to kind of, scatter some cute things to look at. And I always think to do clouds and birds and butterflies, but for some reason I never thought of putting an airplane. And then she also added a little girl with a jump rope here where they're playing outside. So I thought that was super cute. I didn't even think of that. And I love this. She put a little frog in Joey's hand instead of the butterfly that I had. And I love that because I feel like I just put butterflies a lot for something extra to add. And I like that this is something different that I didn't think of, a little frog. And there's also a little bird nest in the tree. And then here's one of my favorite things is there's a little squirrel crawling up the tree, which I think is super cute. I just love all these little creative details because you can see that different people are going to do things differently. And when you're creating your book, you're really adding your own personal touch and you're adding things that someone else might never think of. And I just love that because you can see that person's creativity come through in the book that they make. You can find this on Amazon. You can just search for Joey's first day of kindergarten, but I'll also include a link in the description. Now, for the new book that we're going to make, I was excited to do kind of a winter-themed book since winter is coming up, and I'm super excited for it because I love the changing seasons, and I get really excited when it starts getting chilly outside. So I was super excited to do a winter-themed book. And of course, I also want to include my disclaimer here that this is an actual copyrighted book, so of course don't copy it, but I'm just sharing my design process with you. Also, this is more of a design video, and I'm just walking you through my design process, so it's not a tutorial. So if you want more step-by-step instructions, I have some videos that I'll link in the description, and you can also check out my course that I have available on my website, which I will also link to in the description. The book that I'm going to be making is going to be for Kara Hope, and she has 2 books already for a series, Logan Digs. The first book is Logan Digs the Wild, and then the second book is Logan Digs the Beach. And in these books, Logan is a boy who takes a shovel and he digs and explores, and it teaches important lessons about the environment and supporting others and caring for animals. So we will be creating the 3rd book of this series, and it's going to be Logan Digs the Arctic. Logan is going to go on a special trip to visit his grandparents, and his grandparents live in the Arctic, and so it's going to include a lot of snow, and I think it'll be really pretty, and we'll be able to make like a winter wonderland. So I have the document here with the text broken up into separate pages. And I also have a page that Kara gave me that has the different characters of the book in different positions. And this is one of the things that I also explain in my course where I walk you through creating a children's book, is that one of the first things that you can do is make a page with your character in all different positions. And then when you're building your scenes, it'll be really easy just to go to that page and just grab a character and drop them into your scene. So she did that for me, and I think it'll make the whole process go really smoothly. Let's go ahead and start with the first scene here. The first page says Logan visits his grandparents for a special holiday in the Arctic. Grandpa tells him to come inside. He goes inside and Grandma looks up and she smiles and her hands are busy knitting a special project. These are really kind of two different scenes because we have him being welcomed into the house, but we also have Grandma smiling at him after he comes into the house. So that's really two different scenes. So I'm going to break up the text into two different portions and have each one on a different page. So I'm just going to take this text and make a copy. And then on the second page, I'm just going to have the part about Grandma. And then on the previous page, I'll have everything up to that. And I do want to pick a different font. This is just the default font that comes with Canva, but we'll pick a font a little bit later after we have some of the scenes made. For this page, I want to have it outside and have the grandpa kind of waving and welcoming him. And I want to have the camper because Logan rides his camper around to visit different people. So he's going to drive up to the cabin in his camper. So I always like to start with the biggest part of the scene, the background. So I'm going to first just pick a background color, and this is going to be the sky. So I'm going to pick kind of a nice blue here. I think I'll actually make it a gradient. And when I do a gradient, I like it to be very similar colors. So I actually take the second color and set it to the first color and then just change it a little bit, because I want it to be a very subtle gradient and not super obvious. And then I'm going to change the style and just pick something that I think looks nice. I think this one looks nice. Now let's add some snow. This one's cute. It's not quite tall enough, but I think I might want to add another one that can be like more in the back, and then it'll kind of look like hills. These look a little too much the same though, because if you see, like, this line crosses over and then this line crosses over, so I'm actually just going to flip this, and that makes them look a little bit different. I might make this one a little bit bigger too though. And then I'm going to leave this part blue up here. That's going to be the sky, and it's also just going to make the text easy to read. And then, of course, we want to include the camper and the cabin. So let's grab the camper up here. We can maybe have it right here. And let's look for a cabin. We want to make sure that the style of the cabin matches the illustration style we're using. And if you look at the images, we do have some shading, but we don't really have any blended shading. So it's more of like solid color shading. If you look at it, you can clearly see the delineation here between where the shadow is and the light. So that's very different than like blended shading. So if we look over here, we can try to find something that kind of fits. And you can see that also this camper is very 3D looking. So we don't want to pick something that's like two-dimensional like this. We want to pick something that looks more 3D. Let's see if there's some more options from this artist. So if I click on these three dots, I can go to view more by the artist, and then I'll search for house. This is cute. We might need to just add some decorations to it, add a front door. Let's see what we can do with this. So I'm going to flip this around so that it's actually facing the camper there. And we can also make like kind of a driveway coming out. Let me grab a shape. Maybe this one. And I'll rotate it and let's make it long. And I'm going to make it that same color of the lighter part of the snow. That looks a little flat to me though, so maybe I'll just duplicate it. And I'm going to make the first one a little bit lighter. And we can maybe even add some more snow in the front here. Let's look for some more of that snow. Here's where we got the snow from, but I want to see what else that same artist has. So I'm going to click the three dots and view more from that artist. Oh, this looks really nice. I just need to change the colors so that they match the other one. I want it to be up a little, but then there's going to be this gray under here, so I'm going to add a rectangle, and then I'll just make this white. I think that's cute. Now let's work on the house. I think I don't want a gray roof because there's already a lot of gray in the picture. So let's see what else we can use for the roof. We could maybe do like the same color as the outside, but we'll make it lighter. Although that might be too much blue also. Let's see how a red roof looks, because I always like a red roof. And then maybe we can just lighten the outside a bit. Let's add some snow to the top of the house. And this artist actually has a lot of really good snow pieces here. Here's a really good snow. I'm going to grab this one down here, and I'm going to copy the style and just paste it onto this other one. So that way it's the same colors. And let's put it along the top of the house. I can't really see it that well because of the snow in the back. So I'm going to make the snow in the back smaller. And now we can really see the snow on top of the house. I want some more of this snow, but I don't want it to look exactly the same. So I'm going to go back and just search for snow and see if we can find some more things like that. Oh, there's also icicles. Let's put these over here. So they're coming off the edge of the roof here. We will just need this part to be behind the roof. So I'm going to make a rectangle and I'll make it small. And I'm going to change the color to be that dark red color that we're using for the edge of the roof. And then I'm just going to make a copy of this and bring it down. And this one, I'll just make it the red color. I'm going to copy this over because we're only going to have a little bit of it, so I don't think it'll look too repetitive, especially if I flip it. And then I'm just going to move it over here. Now we have to figure out something for this V here. Let's try this. That's actually not too bad because we could maybe cover up that point right there and then just have this be the new shape. So I'm going to change the colors so that they match the other colors. And then let's just copy this rectangle that I already have here, and I'll make it that red color. And I'll just cover up this part here. We do still need just a little more snow down here. So I could probably take this and copy it, and then I'll just click crop here, and I'll crop the left part off. And then I'll do the same thing with this side. Actually, I'm going to swap these guys, and I'm going to flip them. And this is going to make it less repetitive. So now it doesn't look like we have the exact same thing right under the other one. We do also have this guy up here, which I can probably just copy this. But again, I want to flip it so it doesn't look too repetitive. We also want to make a front door. So I want to cover this window and make a front door there. So I'm going to press letter R on my keyboard to bring up a rectangle. And I'm going to make it the same color as the house. And then I'm just going to drag it over to cover up the window. And I'm going to go to position and layers. And then I want to group all of this stuff so that I don't accidentally move it around. Now let's add a door, and I want it to be an open door because Grandpa's going to be coming out of it. So let's go to elements, and I'm going to search for open door because I want it to be at an angle. So let's see if there's one at an angle here. This one might be good, and we can change the colors. So I kind of want it to be a red door to match the roof. So I'm going to pick that red color, and let's change the other colors too. The only thing that I don't really like is that it has the door frame as part of it, and the door frame is actually at like a perfect straight on angle, whereas the house is tilted. So it doesn't really work with the house. So I'm going to go to crop, and I'm just going to crop that part out. And then we're going to have Grandpa coming out of the door anyways, so it might not even matter that we don't have a door frame because it's possible that you won't even see it. Let's go ahead and grab Grandpa so we can see what this is going to look like. So here are the Grandpa poses we have. I think this is probably the best one because he's like actually looking up. So I'm going to take this one and make a copy, and then I'm just going to put his head on his body since the color of the hair isn't right over here. So I'm just going to crop this duplicate here, and then I'll flip it, and I'll place it right on top here. And I can also bring the opacity down so that way I can do a better job of overlaying it, because then I can resize it to the perfect size. And I can even grab the one underneath, and then I'll just crop the old head off. And you can see here that it's a little hard for me to crop this perfectly because we're getting some of the shirt in here, and all we want is the head. So my solution to that is the app Choppy Crop. I'm in love with this app. So if I go over here to my apps, I have Choppy Crop, and I can click on this, and I'm just going to click where I want to crop. And once I click, I can also then zoom in, which is really helpful. So I'm just going to get just his head here, and I'm not going to get any of his outfit. And then I'll scroll down here, and you can see that I kind of messed up a little bit there, so I can go back up and I can actually just move these little points around. And then when I'm happy with it, I can click Add to Design. So here is my new head, and I just want to make sure it's the right size. So I'll just make sure it's the same size as the other head, and then I can place it on the body. And now I can go ahead and just grab these two and group them. And then I'll copy this, and let's bring it down here and paste. Oh, and I totally didn't realize that this has a white background, but that's really easy to get rid of. So I'm just going to ungroup this, and I'll just grab the body, and we'll just click background remover. And now I'm going to group these guys back again. And now I can have him coming out from the door here. And let's see if we can add Logan. These are all like action shots of Logan, so let's see if we can find some kind of body that will just have him arriving to the house and not doing something specific. So I'm going to do winter boy, because that way he'll be in winter clothing. And we are going to need to make sure that the style matches pretty well. So like this is a good one, because it even has kind of that dark outline that you see on Grandpa, and it has that shading. We probably just need to use Croppy Chop though to take the head off, since this line goes down and around where the scarf is. So let's go back to Choppy Crop, and I'm just going to click in here and take his head out. So here's the preview, and I'm just going to click Add to Design. And here's the body without the head. So I'll just delete the other guy. And let's go ahead and grab a Logan head to use. I think this will probably be the easiest one to add on, because the other ones kind of have like his arm around it. This one goes with a certain jacket. So let's copy this one, and I'll paste it here. And I think we'll need to use choppy crop again so that we can just cut out his head. All right, so here's his head, and I'm just going to move it underneath that scarf. And I do want to flip him around so he's looking at Grandpa. And then I'll grab these two and group them, and he's going to be really small. So now that I see how small they are, I do want to just grab everything and make it bigger, because I really don't want to have characters that are this tiny in my scene. So I'm going to go to position, and I'll go to layers, and I'm going to grab everything that's not the snow and not the text, and I'm just going to make it all bigger. And then I can also move this stuff closer, because then I can make it even bigger. And actually, we could even have the camper kind of in the background, and that way we could have it smaller. So let's put it maybe like back here. And then the text we can just have on the left over here. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't really like the window. And I think I want to change that out too. It just looks kind of blah. So I'm going to ungroup this. I'm going to make a rectangle, and I'm going to make it the same color as the house, and I'm going to cover up the window. And then let's find a new window, one that maybe looks a little cuter. This one's kind of nice, and it's not as low. I feel like that other one was really low to the ground. Let's use this one, but I think I might want to change the colors a little, because I think I want the window frame to stand out a little more. So I'm going to go to Edit, Adjust, and I'll go down to Color Edit, and let's select the frame color, and let's bring the brightness down so it's a little darker. I think that's actually pretty good. And then I can put this little piece of snow right here. And then we can also have some snow that's maybe kind of piled up around the house. Even just like this little kind of wavy line here, and I'll make it white. I think I would like a little more variation in the sky, because it's kind of looking like it's all one color. So I'm going to click on background color, and I'm going to click on this. And for the darker color, I want to make it a little darker. I would also like Logan's eyes to be looking at his grandpa. So one thing I could do pretty easily is just, I'm going to ungroup this, and I'm going to make a copy of his face, and I'm going to flip it, and then I'm just going to crop his eyes. And his eyes are just copies of each other, so I'm just going to crop this eye because it's the easiest, and then I'll kind of rotate it. Now he'll be looking at his grandpa. We could even move them up and then have the text along the bottom of the page, because really we don't need to show all that roof. It's just a bunch of red. So I think I would like it better if it was moved up, and then we can cut off a lot of that boring roof part. And then we can have the camper in the back, maybe kind of like that. And then I'll move the ground. We want the text to be easy to read, so let's try to keep it plain white down here. Now that I think looks cute. Took a while to get here, but I think I like it. And I want him to be kind of behind this snow right here, because otherwise it doesn't look as realistic, almost like he's standing on it, but not exactly. So I'm just going to take this and bring it forward. Now let's add some finishing touches. So I do want this to kind of look like a winter wonderland. So let's go to elements, and I'll search for snowflakes, and we can have some pretty snow falling. I'm going to move it behind the house so it's kind of in the background here. This actually looks really realistic. I do kind of like it, but I don't know if it's kind of too concentrated. Ooh, if I just move it up, then it's kind of more sparse up here. And then let's add some kind of items here. I don't know what. Oh, we could maybe add a snow shovel, and then that can be a foreshadowing of what is going to happen in the book. Let's make it a different color so we can have like a different pop of color here. Maybe yellow might be fun. Yeah, I like that. And try to make it the right size for a person. And the other thing we can add is a bag of salt. because I live in Erie, so I know that we have to put salt on the ground, otherwise you'll slip on the ice. The salt helps melt the ice. So let's find a bag of salt. This looks like a good bag of salt. But I think I do want to change the bag color because I don't want it to look like it's a paper bag, because then it would get all soggy. Oh, another thing that might be cute is we can add some lights up here. My boyfriend and I are very lazy about decorating the house, especially the outside. So we have never put lights on our house. And we've lived in our house for 10 years. It might be fun to have like a little animal too, like maybe a white rabbit in the snow, just for a little something extra. I think this is good for the first page. And this has become a super long video, so I'm going to save the next page for the next video, or I might do it off camera and just show it to you in the next episode. But let me know what you think about this scene, and if you like it, and if there's anything that you would change, or if you think there's anything cute to add. So let me know what you think in the comments. And of course, if you have any questions, also let me know in the comments. And as always, you can email me at heather@heathercash.com. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so I know to make more videos like this. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.